It looks like we're live.
It sure does. This is awesome. Hey guys, we are here today asking a very important question about your level of preparation for the things that happen in life. And, we were just talking a little bit before, and it's funny some of the conversations we have right before we go live. And I wish that you guys could be that little fly on the wall to hear all the funny, crazy things that happen. But we have some doozies. And if you're ever curious and would like to join us in teaching some of these, you might be able to join us before the cameras go live. So it's just so much fun be able to talk about these things. And you know what? This is a very real thing for asking what things we use when life happens, when those emergencies happen. And so we're going to talk about this a little bit today. Just so you guys know, I'm Jared Jarvis. I am here today with Rone Brummett and Leanne Mason, and we have another extra special guest with us. And we'll see if he'll join us in this conversation too.
Renee, why don't you give us our disclaimer since we're going to be kind of talking about some preparedness stuff?
Yeah, we are not doctors. We cannot diagnose or treat. We are educators. We're here to share information with you and show you where to find the information for yourselves. Is that true?
No. I
Gotta
like how
love
he shakes
working
his
with
head no.
kids, kids
I
and
love it.
animals.
So we started this conversation because, you never know what's going to happen in life. And usually I carry at least my keychain on my purse with my carabiner. And I had taken it off to show somebody and didn't put it back on. So last night at hockey, I did not have it with. And mishaps happen. A coach was looking somewhere else during warm-ups. And during warm-ups, kids are doing slap shots, they're doing stick handling, they're doing skating, and we have a very large team. So when you have close to 40 kids on the ice, there's pucks flying everywhere, right? So one of the coaches got a puck to the shin, a slap shot at a pretty rapid pace. And I didn't know what was happening to start with because my husband is on the coaching staff. So he was over on the bench with the coach and with the players, and I was on the complete opposite side. So it wasn't until Joseph came over to share what had happened and I went to my purse, right? And I'm like, "Oh, I don't have everything." But what I did have is I carry a little container. Let's see if you guys can see that has each side has a Copaiba, two turmeric, and a frankincense dual cap in it. Perfect for those times when there is inflammation. So, inflammatory support for the body. And I had our brain roller that we use quite a bit in our home for neurological brain support. And I had a mini frankincense. So, topically, what did we use? These two. Internally, we use these. Well, I guess in the time from the time it happened until Joseph had walked over, it was getting some pretty colors on there and was, the inflammation was visible. Fast forward a half an hour later when coach is off the ice and is showing me the inflammation had gone down and the coloring, instead of continuing to grow, had actually started to be more normal. Fast forward to a half an hour later after that, my son, while helping put the skate sharpener into Coach's truck, hit his tail hitch and instantly, again, started that inflammatory process. And um, my son, on the other hand, uh, was in quite a lot of pain and shock differently than Coach. He could feel tingling all down his leg because the pain was so excruciating. And he was not so sure he wanted me to touch with the roller because he was But it calmed it down. By the time we got home, again, same results, right? But I was sure by looking at my son's that he would have had some more vibrant color this morning. But I came home and I made him a bruise support blend. Now, that bruise support blend is 10 drops of frankincense, 10 drops of lavender, 5 drops of deep blue, and 5 drops of Helichrysum in a 10 mil roller, topped off with fractionated coconut oil. I'm also taking one to the coach for tonight. So he put that on after his shower last night. When he got up this morning, it was where it ended last night instead of more colorful. And he's going to put it on again today because he has a game tonight. So he doesn't want to have, a sore shin going into a game. So that's kind of what sparked the conversation. I also carry some digestive support in my purse, which is DigestZen, some Terrazyme, and a PB Restore. So, Jared, what are some things that you carry as a precaution for being ready
Absolutely.
for anything?
So when we're talking being ready for anything, I have a policy, and I think this is a great policy. If you don't have anything except one oil, use it. I've seen countless times that people came to me and said, "I only have this oil. What do I use?" Well, use the oil that you have versus nothing. That's going to help the body to start a process, and it creates a cascading effect that we see where the body triggers some recovery. Now, that said, there are specific oils that I love that are my go-tos for certain things. One of the oils I carry with me pretty well all the time is Breathe. And Breathe is right there. It's great for my respiratory support. If you know me, you know I've got a history of some things there, and being able to breathe is an important thing for me. And so I usually carry Breathe. I also typically carry a little bit of Citrus Bliss. Now, Citrus Bliss is fantastic for my emotional support. So when life's in some different ways and my brain starts to go a little bit haywire, that's the one that kind of helps keep me happy, keeps me calm when some of those things happen. And I tend to be a pretty calm guy anyway. But you know what? Those are two of my typical go-tos that I carry with me all the time. And then, like Leanne, I typically have a keychain that has a number of other oils. So a couple of my other go-tos, frankincense. I absolutely love having frankincense. That one's around with me most of the time. Purify. We do occasionally get, especially during mosquito season that we're having right now here in Arizona, some of those things that happen. And a little bit of Purify goes a really long way for those occasional bites and other things that pop up. Peppermint, great one for cooling, and Deep Blue, great for helping with occasional pain and inflammation. And those are definitely regular ones. And then I typically go with another citrus that I'm going to have in my water or something like that, that just is uplifting. And I think that can help support the body and trigger the body in a lot of different ways too. Now, I know Renee has a completely different system that she carries with her and has had some phenomenal experiences with that as well. And keep in mind, guys, if I'm here at home, I've got my whole oil case that has all my different oils, and a good book is worth its weight in gold when it comes to those things that you want to be able to use.
Absolutely. So I started out with a keychain, and then I had two keychains, and then I had three keychains, and finally I got what is pretty much like a pencil box. It's the size of a pencil box, and it has 60 oils in 1 gram bottles, which is a pretty good amount, and that is always in my backpack. And I always bring my backpack with me. Typically, I will so I've got my regular like little purse, but then I can shove that inside my backpack, or I can take it out. But the backpack here in Minnesota, we don't worry about the heat too much except for like a month out of the year. If your car is going to get over 120 degrees, do not leave oils in your car. But that backpack goes with me pretty much everywhere. And in the backpack, I have some kids rollers as well as turmeric and copaiba and the frankincense capsules now. It's kind of I'm a little obsessive about making sure I have oils with me. Um, and this was actually really effective. I went to a church barbecue about 2 months ago. We had like our end of the summer, we had our church barbecue. And it's funny because I went to leave the house and I was just going to take my little purse because I'm like, I'm going to church barbecue. It's fine. And I had this impression, bring your backpack. And I thought, well, that's weird, but okay. So I threw my backpack in the car. And as I was getting out of the car, again, take your backpack. And I thought, well, that's weird, but who am I to argue? So I brought my backpack with me. And then when I was standing in line, I noticed a family and there was some commotion about a little boy and I heard something about a bee and it was kind of I wasn't part of it. I'm not familiar with a lot of people because I'm fairly new to this church. And I got an impression, ask if he was stung by a bee. And I thought, well, that's kind of intrusive, but okay. So I just asked, I was like, hey, was he stung by a bee? And the mom was like, yes. Oh my gosh. Like I said, I've got something for that. And I ran down the little hill where I had my backpack and I grabbed my oils and brought it back up there. And I put some Purify on it. And then as I was putting the lavender on it, so I did Purify and lavender on this bee sting. By the time I was putting it on, he was already like the reaction was calmed. And she was just amazed. And I was so grateful that I listened to that intuition to bring that with me. And then, just like always having some spare band-aids. This happened because this happened. So he needed a little band-aid because he's got a little mark on his cheek. So, but here at home, I had a little mishap as we were cooking in the kitchen. And I am grateful for Correctex for putting on cuts and things that could easily get infected. So always grateful to have. Oh, and now I will need the Bruise Blend. Thank you for demonstrating.
So I just put the Bruise Blend and the Brain Blend in the comments so that you guys can have that. I also, one of the things when you are creating your blends, because the different oils have different viscosity, did I say that right, Jared?
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you pound it and not just shake it. Pounding it helps those molecules better incorporate. And sometimes you have to do that the first few times because you will see that the oils can separate. So just doing that a few times before with a roller blend to make sure that it's all getting in there is a good habit. Lastly, I think, is there anything else kit-wise? If you need help putting together a kit, let us know. There's great little, and I had one sitting here and I dropped it on the floor. My kit, let me grab it.
I think we actually have a couple blog posts that we put together about some kits that you could put
That's
together.
right. So yeah, we'll just, if you want those, let us know. We'll show you where we get them. These are just, I think they're 1 ml and they're roller bottles, which roller bottles I have found, my original kit was the little just regular drams that you just kind of tap. I just found it so much easier to be able to just roll things places, just a little bit more convenient. So that's what my kit and Megan, my daughter's kit that we have holds, I think 60 oils. So we went through and decided which ones were best. So if you need help or ideas putting kits together for you and your family, let us know. If you want information for upcoming classes, next week is our happy tummy class, basically, right? Eating properly through the holidays. To my brain, you guys just went out the window. I can't remember what it was called.
Essentially, we're going to give you ways to cope with some of those times when we overindulge and also some tips and tricks so as not to overindulge.
There we go. And we called it Seasons Eating, Thriving with Happy Tummies. That's what it is. I had to find it. Then on November 25th is our Breathe in the Blessings class. And then our Biblical Botanicals is on December 11th. So come join us, finish off the holidays, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday for Wednesday Wellness.